Hi everybody, today we start our episode with an overview of the slime farm perimeter again. By now the slime farms are completely finished, also the item collection in the nether is completely finished, the farm is fully operational, we already have a lot of slime blocks, and we want to do a server tour probably next weekend so we can show you the slime farm in action. But there's still some quite minor tasks to do. So this slime farm, where all the slimes would go to the nether side, is mostly limited by lag because entities going through portal creates tremendous lag. The code is not efficient at all, and that's why we need to make also the area around here as lag friendly as possible. So in most cases, about 80 to 90% of the performance is used in every Minecraft world for entities. So entities are animals, the player, minecarts, etc., but also paintings and item frames. And in a normal Minecraft world, you always have, with a run distance of 16, you always have hundreds of animals around you, which are entities. So the AIs turn off, but still the entities, and they require a lot of performance. And that's why we want to kill all the animals that are still left here in the forests around the slime farm perimeter, just to bring the number down and hopefully also increase performance. As you saw, the chicken would lay eggs even if you're near there, so probably the AI is not completely turned off. So we hope to increase the performance. The moment the slime farms would run at 12.5 to 13 ticks per second, we hope to raise the number a little bit so the farm would be faster in real time. A lot of people always assume that our server must be super laggy because we build all those huge farms. But in fact it's not. So we really try to avoid any lag problems. So the really main focus of the server is trying to keep it lag friendly. So one of the measures we do is we always build the farm separate from each other, since if you don't load a farm or an area, it can cause any lag. Also, what's important is that we always try to keep the amount of entities down. That also involves not doing some fun things like building some kind of an animal farm near our base or area, since our animals are really detrimental for performance. Also, we don't use paintings or item frames as decoration. That's also not good. Also, no maps possible. Of course, sometimes it's not really avoidable, so we have to use some item frames, for example, in our storage system to indicate chests, etc. But at our main storage system, there's only the main storage system, nothing else. Some smaller farms, they don't increase performance at all. And yeah, that's why we always try to keep our main storage separated from our base, or we don't really have a base or something similar. So we have our farms spread around the world, and then we have the main storage. I think that's the best way to do it. And yeah, sometimes it would be fun to do some, use paintings, etc. as decoration. But what really spoils the fun is lag, and that's why we don't do that. Alright, so hunting season is over. Those are the products I got from killing the animals. Not sure how many I killed, and there probably are also some left because I didn't find them. But at least the number is significantly down. I kind of want to know how much the performance will be affected. At the moment I can't test the slime farms because we need a third account, just have two to test it fully. But I'm gonna test it in a new creative world, I guess, with Gnommon's carpet mod. So I created this new world in 1.11, and I'm having Gnommon's carpet mod here installed. We have the same render distance as in SciCraft, which is 16 chunks, and I have almost 500 animals around me. So what I'm gonna do next is do a tick warp and see how much TPS we get if we try to run the game as fast as possible. So I guess 50 minutes is enough for a test. And then I'm gonna kill all the animals, and then we see what the tick rate is afterwards. That should give us a rough idea how much the animals around us decrease performance or influence it. So here we have the first test result, and I'm really surprised. I thought we would get a better performance, so we just got 61 TPS, so the game ran 3 times as fast as normal. Usually if I do a super flat world, basically no blocks at all, then I get above 2000 TPS. And it really shows how much stuff around us affects performance already. So next I'm gonna kill all the animals, normal mob spawning as always. So we're probably gonna have 10 animals again because they spawn, and do a 50-minute test as well. Alright, this is insane. So just by killing about 500 animals, the TPS went from 61 to 590, so almost 10 times as high. So yeah, if you have any performance problems in the Minecraft world, maybe try to kill all the animals. So back on SciCraft, I also did something there to improve the performance. So we had this movable mob switch on top of the bedrock. You can't see it because we didn't make a hole in there, and just move it away. So previously we had 70 shulkers above us at all times, which prevented gas spawning, which is annoying if you want to build something. So they also moved away, and I'm really excited to see the test results now, but unfortunately, as I said, somebody else has to come on. We need a third account to fully test it. Yeah, we hope that we can record a server tour next weekend. So let's head over to the project for this episode. It's something smaller this time, but it's just right around the neighborhood, more or less. So we want to build a mushroom farm. And not just small mushroom farms, one of those huge mushroom farms, because we want to mushroom farm blocks to be precise. So here we have this nice mega taiga biome, which is really one of my favorite biomes. And I guess this is a good place to build a mushroom farm. So yeah, we have to prepare the area first. We will need some space. So a mushroom block farm requires some space. The idea is to make a farm where we transport all the mushroom blocks of a red mushroom inside of a cube maker. So get a block stream, and everything is put inside of a cube, which would be about 12 by 12 by 12, so about almost 2,000 blocks. And afterwards, after like 10 minutes of AFKing, we could go to the cube and break all the blocks with our axe. So would have a second use. We could also put the output into like a TNT blast chamber or wizard cage to get the small red mushrooms. But yeah, we could also use a normal axe to get small mushrooms. We don't really need the mushroom farm, but we don't have a double chest of mushroom blocks and red mushrooms yet. And the goal of this server is also to kind of have everything automated and just have a farm for everything. And yeah, we have this world for almost 2.5 years now. It's time to build a red mushroom farm. Oh, this is great. I'm very lucky. So just a few blocks away from this portal, I found this little valley here, which was already dead flat. I think that's a nice spot for the mushroom farm. If I need more space, I'm probably gonna expand in that direction, just remove some dirt here, so we have enough space to build the mushroom farm. I think it fits in nicely. Really nice area here. Okay, so of course we need a design. So building a red mushroom farm is quite complicated, so I'm definitely not gonna just start in survival and see how it goes. I know some other YouTubers do that, like ESO does all this redstone in survival, and also it makes entertaining videos. But I think also ESO would agree, to get the best results, you just have to go to creative. And that's what my preferred method of designing farms, since you always make a lot of mistakes and then you need to use MC Edit to easily correct it and so on. So it just takes 3 times longer in survival. Also, you can't really make a super complicated farm in survival. That's not gonna work. So that's why we're gonna go into the creative world, and I'll guide you through the process a little bit. So how I tackle problems like building a red mushroom farm. Alright, so here we're in a creative world, and the first thing I always do if I try to make a tree farm, or in this case a huge mushroom farm, is to look how the structure grows. So just bone meal some saplings, also check the wiki to try it out. So I checked before, apparently they can grow 5 to 7 blocks high, and the stem is 4 to 6 blocks high, and there's a 1 in 12 chance that the stem would be just double as high. So the highest mushroom, with the cap included, would be 13 blocks high. So the next thing which is interesting is if we can manipulate the growing height somehow. So the idea behind manipulating the height is that it's a lot easier to deal with an expected result. And similar to trees, you can adjust the red mushroom height by placing a block above it. Disadvantage is that you need more bone meal, since all the attempts to grow to a different height are aborted. So by placing a block here, we always get the smallest height red mushroom, and it's easy to deal with that, or easier since we know where the blocks will generate. In some cases, it's also interesting or possible to force the tree. So this works with dark oak trees and also some, for example, jungle trees, to force them to grow higher. So we can adjust the height in a different way. For the red mushroom, it's not really that interesting since most of the blocks consist out of the cap, and the stem is just a few blocks. So there's no real advantage, or it's not really more efficient to get a lot of stem blocks. But yeah, it might be interesting. It might make things easier. So next we look at what prevents mushroom growing. So for example, if I place a block here, then no mushroom would grow. This is a strategy. But if you would place blocks inside of the mushroom, that doesn't prevent it, so you could do that, and it would still grow. Also, you could place blocks around here. Would also grow, but unfortunately not here. It's a little bit weird why it doesn't work there. So the code is not really that great in this case, because the red mushroom grows similar to the brown mushroom. I think they even share the same code. So if a brown mushroom can't grow somewhere, then the red mushroom also can't. Okay, so once we figured this out, so is it maybe possible if I would just raise this up and place more blocks here? Would this be an option to adjust the height? So let's remove those blocks and let's see. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work, so we can't really force the mushroom to grow to a certain height, except the lowest height. So we have to deal with that. What's also interesting about giant mushrooms is a little anomaly. You could actually replace mushroom blocks with leaves, and the mushroom would still grow. So this might be useful if, for example, some blocks are really hard to handle and we don't find a way. We could just replace them with leaves, and then the mushroom blocks don't generate and we don't have to deal with them. That might also be an option. I'm not sure who found it out, but yeah, notice from Helvins. I think he was also the one that found it. Here's, for example, an idea for a very simple mushroom block farm. You could do something like this. So the only blocks would generate directly on top of the dirt. And you could do a system similar to tree farms, for example, like a sand conveyor belt, where you push in sand blocks from the bottom, and then process the blocks that was pushed to the top. And at the end, we just let the sand fall down again and start a new cycle. So this would be probably one of the simplest mushroom block farms, but not really a fan of making it simple. I want to process all the mushroom blocks just because it's a nice challenge. So I'm gonna definitely do a more complicated system. So now that we know how the mushroom would generate, and especially where the blocks would generate, and maybe if you want to avoid some blocks generating somewhere, we have the leaf option. Here comes the part that would always take up a huge chunk of the time I need to invest into making a farm, and it's finding a working piston layout. Also, we have some requirements for the farm. Speed is not that interesting, since it's a red mushroom farm, it's not too useful. I really want to focus on simplicity, but that's relative. I mean, working with the red mushroom blocks, which is one of the most complex structures, is quite difficult itself. I also care for some compactness. It shouldn't be huge. So I want to keep the red mushroom farm and storage, if it's possible, into chunks. And yeah, it would be nice to transport all the blocks to a single storage. So basically every single block that would generate has to be at some point go to the same spot. And this is quite a challenge, as the red mushroom, as I said, it's one of a more complex structure. It's quite difficult to tackle this problem. So what we definitely could do, what's probably useful, is placing pistons inside of here, so they actually won't generate, and that's a nice way to push out the stem blocks. Then there's the question how we power this. So we can place blocks inside of here. So at some point we also need to power those pistons. But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here, and it's also no shame to look at what other Minecrafters have already done with red mushroom farms. Very few people have built a red mushroom farm. My buddy Coolmann, who's also a member of the SciCraft server, made one a while ago, so we take a look at what he did. So here's what Coolmann did. This was a really clever layout. So basically we can place blocks here. So we have those remaining red mushroom blocks, but I'm just going to use sandstone now, and have triple piston extenders on each side. They are rotated by 60 degrees. So what does triple piston extenders do? Just do it with one. Is they push the blocks out, so they could be further processed, and the last red mushroom block would remain behind in that position. So now we can retract the triple piston extender again, and the block that we moments ago just used to push out the red mushroom blocks would still remain behind. It's also a red mushroom block in this case. Then this other triple piston extender would be activated, and the blocks are pushed out at this side. So the block is retracted again, and then this one here pushes out, or no, this one pushes out, and so on. This way you can get rid of all the side blocks, and the blocks that would remain behind are those red mushroom blocks directly in front of the triple piston extender. And then we have the output stream on 4 sides, and the blocks could be further processed. So the stuff that is remaining behind would be the stem blocks. We can power those pistons through those blocks that were generated on the side here of the cap. So we just need to repeat this here, and then we could power those at a certain point and push those stem blocks inside of those triple blocks. So basically the triple piston extender would push those out. Then we can activate it again, and this time push out the stem blocks. This would activate it once more and push out the stem blocks here. So the stem blocks are also gone, and then it's just the blocks at the top are left, and use some slime blocks extenders. So basically he grabbed them with slime blocks and transported them somewhere. So that's definitely an option. It's quite a fast farm, but it's not really what we want, since the blocks are sent out to 4 different directions, then I need to deal with the blocks at the top. I want a more compact system. You can actually see it in action here. So this is Coolmann's world. You can turn this on here. Then just have to place a red mushroom. And you can see the piston sequence in action. So you can see the triple piston extenders work. Those grab the blocks at the top. The stem is getting pushed inside of here. Then everything is pushed out. So this is quite a fast system. If you care for a fast mushroom farm, this is quite a good setup. There are even faster setups. Also my friend, Enemy's friend, he's also on the SciCraft server, made a really fast layout where we also used the leaf technique to get insane amount of red mushroom blocks out of it. We never wired that concept up, but they're definitely more or faster concepts even. But since at this time I don't care about speed that much, it's not really that useful, we go for a more compact design. So here's my idea. In order to avoid the complicated triple piston extenders, use flying machines instead. So we will fly those pistons up, and they push the mushroom blocks upwards. So basically we have a flying machine on each side. So yeah, we'll just indicate that. A sticky piston here and there, like a flying machine, and just send it upwards. So all the blocks would at some point be stopped at the top here, and we would have a shape like this. So all the mushroom blocks are sent up, and here in the middle you have the piston that at some point would push every single of those blocks. So on the outside we have some pistons that push the blocks into the middle. So we all will push the blocks into the middle, and would also activate the piston. So we're just gonna add an observer that detects if the next block is getting moved. So if the next block would get pushed inside, observer would detect it, power that piston just by powering some redstone dust, and this would power this piston. So let's do that. As you can see here, pushes the blocks up. Okay, then we need some pistons here on the side to push in those blocks. So this one and this one. This is a little bit challenging now, because we have to do this on both sides. So basically those two sticky pistons, they basically would share a block. So first this one pushes in, so this one can push again, and at some point this one push in. Didn't activate this one, but okay, I guess you get the idea. So basically we have the pistons all around it. So we have the 8 sticky pistons around it and 4 normal pistons, and at some point all of those blocks of the middle layer are pushed inside. Then I'll replace the obsidian. Here we would have other pistons, so the obsidian is responsible to stop the flying machine. At some point we push the next blocks down, and here's my mushroom block, and then we basically start the whole process, circuit again. And we still have the flying machine here with the pistons. We can use the flying machine to push up the lower blocks and push those in the middle. And then we send the flying machine back downwards. So we just needed those pistons, which here at this position is the starting position, to send them up one last time, and then we can send the flying machine back down again. Okay, so all the blocks from the bottom here are sent up, and those are the remaining blocks we need to take care of. So now we're actually going to send a second flying machine through. So this flying machine here at the moment, of course, block the access to those blocks. So that's why we sent a second flying machine in, while the first 4 flying machines are up there. So they are gone, they're upstairs, and now we send in a second flying machine. So the second flying machine pushes all of those blocks over. So it would look something like this. We have pistons here, 4 pistons and top 3. Then just need some slime blocks and push in that flying machine. So basically we'll have some issues with the push limit, so we need to do something like this. And those are basically 2 flying machines that work together. And then this whole structure is pushed over to the left and then processed further. So those blocks are getting pushed over to this side, and then it would look like this. Since those mushroom blocks are getting pushed first and basically get pushed over like this. And then my idea for the further processing of those blocks is to use a piston here. Pushes the stuff down, and here we have another piston, basically pushes all the blocks out at some point. So this will activate, then we have another piston here. Since this one in, activate this one again, and so on. Then we need a double piston extender here to push in those blocks. And then those would activate again. So first this one and so on. Of course, this also, the one at the bottom should all activate as well all the time if this one activates. So and so on. So those blocks are gone. Then we push those in. Those are also gone. And then we would have those blocks left. This one can reject again. And to get rid of those blocks, my idea is to make some kind of a triple piston extender, something like this. So slime blocks, 3 sticky pistons, and just push it down. So we activate this one first, then this piston activates. Also, we can already add the observer. So to those slime blocks, we will add an observer to also push down. This way we can get. We don't need a quadruple extender, so then the next one activates, this one pushes down, then the last one, and all the blocks out. Then we can reject it again, and we've taken care of all of the blocks. So that's the basic piston layout. And now we need to wire it up, build the flying machines, etc. Also, we always need to take care of the other design requirements. So we definitely need a dispenser here for the bone meal. We need to hook up some additional droppers and hoppers to the dispensers, since we want to have a larger bone meal storage, of course. We need to take care of the player, so he needs to stand somewhere. Of course, I couldn't place the AFK spot here, since the flying machine will push the player, and so on. There are always a lot of factors you need to keep in mind. So what I didn't mention yet, that those two streams of blocks would also merge at some point. Basically, we have the output stream here at the top and at the bottom, and they would merge at some point again. I don't know, just gonna draw something here of blocks now, what it may look like. So here they merge again, then it could all be sent to the storage. Okay, so you might have gotten the impression that this is more complicated than what coolmann did, but what we didn't do with coolmann system yet is to merge all of those block streams. So here we already prepared the further transport of those blocks. That's what coolmann didn't do with this version. He actually made a version where we sent all the blocks to a storage, and that one was huge. So I'm quite sure that this one will be smaller in size. So we're past our usual 20 minutes. The next step is, of course, to wire this up and add all the different components. Not sure if this video or this episode was that interesting for you. Probably not if you're not interested in redstone. But I got some requests to show a little bit more detailed design process. Let me know if this was interesting for you. So next episode, I'll also go quickly over the wiring. So there are definitely always some little tricks you could use. And then I will put this up in Survival, of course, so we can use it there. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.